Are you sick and tired of feeling sick and tired? Are you over being so fatigued that you don't have energy for your kids, for your partner, for yourself, for your friends? Are you overwhelmed with everyday life and not sure why? Do you feel like that everybody else seems to be able to cope and handle, but for some reason you can't? Well, to cover these mystery complex cases, I've brought together some of the most brilliant minds in the alternative health space. We'll be talking everything from psychedelics to mental health, mindfulness, spiritual health, physical health. If it has to do with living your best life, I'm going to have a guest on covering that topic. Hey there, I'm Heather Gray, a certified functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner and certified bioenergetic practitioner, and I am the Renegade Health Boss. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you will enjoy this show. Yay! Welcome, Ulrich, to the show. Welcome, welcome.
Hi, Heather. Thank you so much for having me.
I had such a pleasure meeting you at Dave Asprey's biohacking conference. You would just get such a beautiful, warm, welcoming smile. Like, I saw your bike, I was in a dress and heels, and I didn't want anything to do with it. And you're like, no, come check it out. And I'm so glad I did. And then, here you are on the show. Like, obviously, I fell in love with you and the company and the bike. So I'm super excited to jump in today and find out more who you are, how'd you get started, all the fun stuff, and why a Carol bike over, some of the other stuff on the market. So let's dive in.
Yeah, sure. Happy to tell you all about it. Where do you want to start? Like what the Carol bike is and just a 2-minute rundown?
I want to know more. Well, a little bit about, let's make us care. Make us care. Who are you, right? And why did you get into that line of work?
So honestly, by coincidence, by accident. So I'm German. The name is the giveaway. I'm a mechanical engineer. I started my career in automotive industry. I worked for BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen. And then for many, many years as a management consultant in healthcare, because I wanted to relocate to London, and there's not much automotive industry here. And so I worked with hospitals and with payers on how to make healthcare operations more efficient, more cost-effective, and just improve care for patients. And that's literally the largest part of my professional career. And in healthcare, the most effective thing to reduce cost and to make care better is just prevention. And so along with my co-founders, I designed and managed chronic disease management programs for patients with diabetes, with heart conditions. And exercise was, and of course is, one of the most powerful and beneficial interventions for these patients. Yet we struggle to get patients to work out. And that's consistent with the wider population. If you look across the population in America, it's less than 5% of Americans meet government guidelines for aerobic exercise.
5%?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's kind of shocking.
And it's shocking. Even if like your doctor kind of prescribes exercise, people still manage not to do it. And so we struggled with that. And then one day in 2012, we came across a new type of exercise that completely changed my life and that inspired us to create Carol Bike. And the exercise is called reduced exertion high intensity interval training, or REHIT for short. And so I definitely practice what I preach. I think I could well be the person in the world who's done most REHIT rides ever. I'm now at like 1,300 or so. I don't think there's many that will have done more of this. And it's a fantastic exercise. It's a workout that has been scientifically proven to give you double the health and fitness benefits in 90% less time compared to regular cardio. It's incredibly short. So workouts can be done in as little as 5 minutes and you only have to work hard for 2 20-second sprints. So it's incredibly short, incredibly effective, and it's easy to fit into your life. And so we came across this exercise, and we fell in love. It was really love at first sight. We saw it. So this was showcased on a BBC science program, on a BBC documentary. It was called The Truth About Exercise. And it was wonderful. Yeah, they showed the scientific studies, they interviewed the researchers, and showcased all the benefits, how it was so short, so effective, and how most people wouldn't even sweat. Yeah. And so the very next day, I went to a fitness equipment store and bought myself a traditional exercise bike, and not quite traditional. So I had paid close attention to what they said on the show and got myself the bike that I thought, yeah, that's probably most suitable to do that type of workout. And I tried it at home, and it was nothing like what they had shown on television. Nothing. It was really, really hard. I sweated like hell. And it was just very disappointing. So that was fallen in love, spent like, I don't know, $1,000, $2,000, and fallen out of love. And it was ready already to become a clothes hanger, but we didn't give up there. So we contacted the researchers that were on the show. So that was Dr. Niels Vollert and Professor Jamie Timmons. And you know, they were quite accessible. We asked them, we contacted them, we met up and asked them, why does it not work? And the very first thing they told us was, well, you need a special bike. I was like, oh, you could have mentioned that. No, it would have saved me like $1,500 or so. And,
Right.
and a clothes hanger that I gave away to a neighbor after a few weeks. And they showed us in their lab the equipment that they used. And that's the kind of very special research equipment. It's quite expensive, between $7,000 and $15,000. And it's operated by a second person. So you have basically a lab technician by your side that applies the right resistance for you at the right time and coaches you through the workout. And on that special equipment, yeah, it was a great experience. Was still a hard workout because in those 2 20-second sprints, you go all out, but it was much more doable. It actually, this reduced exertion was true when experienced on that equipment. I didn't break a sweat. And so, yeah, they clearly had found something, but there was just no practical application, no equipment that could translate this fantastic research into a mass market application.
So here comes the engineer part of you and probably doing the AI, which we'll get to here in a minute. But I wanted to circle back to a point where you talked about only 5% of Americans are getting the right amount of exercise.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess I shouldn't be shocked because that kind of makes sense even in my own story right now. You know, Americans are sick. You know, one of the sickest, you know, populations out there. We spend the most money on healthcare, and we're one of the sickest. And I know what the sicker that you get, the harder it is to exercise. Like right now, I'm dealing with a wicked case of plantar fasciitis, which makes it almost impossible to walk, let alone, right, get my heart rate up the way that's supposed to. So I'm supposed to be getting my bike next week, and I'm so looking forward to it because I'm the heaviest I've been in over a decade, and it's driving me bonkers. I can't stand it. I don't feel comfortable in my skin. And I'm really looking forward to it because I think it's finally an exercise that I'll be able to do with this, you know, injury, this illness, and still be able to get a good workout in.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No, it's so important. And that's right. A bike is generally a very well tolerated form of exercise because it's very low impact, very safe. And then combined with this REHIT protocol, it becomes also incredibly effective. So what you say, it resonates so with me. So my mom is 81, and she has unfortunately joint pain and can't walk that much and that far anymore. But she can ride the Carol bike, and she does it religiously every other day. And then she texts me her scores. And that is something that just allows her to maintain her cardiorespiratory fitness despite some mobility issues. So absolutely, this is a really important aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, the people that normally listen to this show are the chronic sick, the autoimmune, they're in pain. And so when you ask them to work out, they kind of look at you like, yeah, right. So that's why I said I fell in love with you and your company and the bike. And like I said, you got video of me in a dress, in my heels, come on, you can do it. And I did. I could. And that's, why I was like, okay, this is easy. And I sweat. I did break a sweat, but I've taught my body how to sweat like that because I spent too many years just sick from not being able to sweat. So I spent the next like half an hour trying to find a fan to cool down because my makeup was melting. But I got a really great workout in.
Yeah. No, and we don't give a guarantee. So we many people. So we have our bikes. They are in offices, and people use it kind of in their coffee break, even in normal clothes. So this it does work, and I would even say for the majority of people, but not for everybody. So you do have some people who sweat, have a tendency to sweat more, and then maybe that just isn't the case for them. On the other hand, so for example, you wouldn't necessarily, even if you have like mild perspiration.
Yep.
You wouldn't necessarily need a shampoo afterwards and kind of get your hair blow dried. Yep. Because it is more accessible than other forms of exercise.
Totally. So like when I used to do spin classes back in the day when I was drenched and I absolutely had to take a shower and redo everything. Yeah, no, this was nothing like that. That was a little like I'm got a little glow on and I need to cool down. So no, you're right. That there was a huge difference. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Hey, this is going to be a good time. Actually, let's pause for a quick break. When we come back, I want to get more into the nuts and bolts of how this thing works, because obviously, like the company you were talking about that had a clinician standing there doing the adjustments, pushing you on. That's not feasible, right? To have a person in your home every day. So I want to dig deeper into, the AI part of this and how all that works. And I'm just so excited. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
When you're facing painful symptoms, a diagnosis of chronic Lyme, or an autoimmune disease, it can be overwhelming to navigate. You already know mainstream medicine doesn't have the tools to support you, and often even alternative medicine can become a maze of options without sustained results. Modern living puts significant stress on our systems. To counter this, we need a holistic approach, utilizing the latest technology and guided by physicians with decades of clinical experience. This is biological medicine. The Biomed Center in Scottsdale, Arizona is one of the most comprehensive clinics in the world, incorporating the latest diagnostics available, such as full-body MRIs, computer regulation thermography, heart rate variability, toxin screenings, and along with hormone and gut testing, they achieve the broadest look at all systems of the body. Customized protocols are developed by physicians who have treated thousands of patients in chronic disease by optimizing their biological performance. Save yourself years of suffering and searching with a visit to the Biomed Center, Scottsdale. The future of medicine is here.
Imagine having an extra hour in your day. With Carol Bike, it's possible in just 5 minutes. You experience what hours of traditional cardio can't match, thanks to scientifically engineered, AI personalized workouts. It's not about working out longer, it's about working out smarter. Every session is tailored to your fitness level, making it perfect for anyone, regardless of age or ability. Say goodbye to guesswork and hello to precision with workouts that are scientifically proven to boost your health and fitness in 90% less time than regular cardio. Who doesn't want that? Less time working out and still get the amazing benefits? Yes, please. Scientifically proven to reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes by 62%, lower blood pressure by 5% with just 3 short workouts a week. Feel the benefits of Carol Bike for yourself, risk-free for 100 days. And if it's not for you, return it and get a full refund. Carol Bike is more than a time saver, it's a life enhancer. Make sure to go to carolbike.com, that's CAROL bike.com, and use coupon code RHB to receive $100 off. Make sure to take the next step in your healing journey with your Carol bike. Yay, welcome back. Super excited to dig into the nuts and bolts of this bike. So tell us more.
Yeah, sure. So REHIT is it's a really short workout. It's as short as 5 minutes, not longer than 8 minutes, and it's only 2 20-second sprints. Now, the bike doesn't have a knob where you adjust the resistance. This is all done fully automatically, computer controlled for you. And the bike basically applies your optimal resistance at the optimal time in a fraction of a second. And that is exactly what helps you to push your limits, momentarily push your limits, and thereby create a really, really powerful training stimulus. And the bike coaches you through the workout, kind of gives you instructions. You get like metrics and your results, and you see how you progress. So it's all designed to make this REHIT workout as simple and as feasible and as doable as possible.
So is there a voice, kind of cheering you on, or can I get it to sound like an angry German person yelling at me?
No,
That would be awesome.
That would be me. But no, it's actually a lady with a lovely British accent. She used to be the actor or the voice actor that did the security instructions, safety instructions on British Airways flights.
Okay.
So it's a very nice British voice that kind of creates a scenario where you walk through the savannah and everything's very relaxed and so on. And then when you have to sprint, there's a tiger behind you, you have to run for your life. So it's a playful take to coach you through that workout.
Right. Well, we talk a lot in functional stuff about eustress, that there's good stress and there's bad stress. And sometimes the little bit of stress on the body is good, like the cold plunge and, these sprints. The cold plunge, man, I recently started doing that in the past couple of weeks, and it hurts so bad, but I've lost a couple pounds since then. Like, I felt some inflammation go down. Like, there's definitely some benefits to stressing your body out in a, quote unquote, healthy way.
Yes. And do you know what? The mechanism why a cold plunge is helpful and the mechanism why the REHIT sprints are helpful, there's actually some very close relation. So a REHIT sprint is effective because you create a very sudden and very strong spike in energy demand in your legs. So the energy demand in your legs goes up by a factor of 100 versus rest. And that forces your muscles to use local energy sources. It's called glycogen, as sugar stored in your muscle. And that can be very rapidly accessed. And because your body only sees that initial spike, it actually mobilizes lots and lots of that energy, lots of that glycogen, and gets you ready for a fight or flight situation, where it gets you ready to fight. With the glycogen, a molecule called AMP gets released and then activated to AMPK, which then activates something called PGC1 alpha, which is your body's master regulator for mitochondrial biogenesis. And that is basically the adaptation pathway that you trigger with REHIT, and where you can get, with very, very short amount of time, really a super strong training stimulus. And here's the thing, with cold plunges, you trigger the same molecule. So you also trigger PGC1 alpha, and thereby through a different method, trigger the same adaptation pathway to get fitter and stronger, which is quite interesting. So yes, it's both a stress, of course, but ultimately it helps you.
Oh, that's incredible. And there's so many people I'm working with right now that is the base area of issues, is mitochondrial distress, dysfunction. They're tired, they're not detoxing properly. Like, there's a lot of inflammation. It just goes on and on and on. And anything that we can do to help the mitochondria and help detox, which, getting lymph moving. You know, again, if you're chronically sick, you can't walk like myself, you're not getting the kind of movement to move these toxins in and out of your body. So that's awesome. What are some of the other kind of health benefits that you see? I know in the commercial that we just made for you, you talked about blood sugar regulation and cardiovascular stuff. So can you go deeper into some of the benefits?
Yeah. And there's a long list of benefits, and that's just reflective of how important exercise is. So there's really a long list of positive things. The two headline benefits is one, an increase in cardiorespiratory fitness. So that's an increase in your VO2 max. That's your ability to burn oxygen and to metabolize oxygen. And we've seen in multiple scientific studies and in our data that within 8 weeks of using the bike just 3 times a week, so that's like 20 minutes per week, you can improve your VO2 max by 12%. Now that's very substantial and very significant, because VO2 max, I would say, is the most important health marker. It's the strongest predictor and the strongest correlate for life expectancy. And for most people, a 10% improvement in VO2 max would translate into 2 years of additional healthy life expectancy. So it's very, very powerful, and also very noticeable. So this is not something subtle, but you will notice that. So that's one, cardiorespiratory.
What do you mean? So when you notice it, what are you noticing?
Well, like the cliche feedback, and this is really something we hear regularly, that people tell us, like, I'm flying up the stairs now. Yeah, when people struggle to walk up a flight, some flights of stairs, that they're just more capable and more able to do that, and that's very noticeable. We lose, as we age, on average about 10% of VO2 max for every decade of aging after 30. So I'm 47. If I think back to 37, that's a substantial difference that you can offset and basically feel 10 years younger in just 8 weeks of doing 3 short workouts per week. It's not subtle. It's really noticeable.
That's incredible.
And then the second headline benefit is around metabolic health. So, and that's the prevention and the reduction of the risk of developing metabolic diseases like type 2 diabetes. And their scientific studies have shown that the risk reduction in only 8 weeks is 62%. So it's a very significant risk reduction. And that's equivalent from what you'd expect from taking prescription medication like metformin, but without the cost of prescription medication and the side effects, because metformin is not just something that's positive, then it has also drawbacks. So in terms of metabolic health, and that encompasses all those things. So the ways researchers measure that, they have a risk score. It's called the MEDS Z score. And there's a basket of physiological measurements that go into that. So blood pressure, cholesterol, triglycerides, waist circumference, and blood sugar. And then if you calculate that, you can calculate a risk reduction. And we saw in only 8 weeks a risk reduction of 62%. So it's very substantial.
That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. Like I said, I can't wait. I'm like, it's like Christmas. I can't wait to get my bike. I'm so excited. The metabolic health thing alone, I mean, is worth its weight in gold. Like, there's so many people being diagnosed with, diabetes these days. It's absolutely insane.
It's a ticking time bomb, really.
It really is. And man, I was going somewhere with this and then I lost my train of thought. I just can't get over being a busy entrepreneur like I am. I love Dave Asprey's book, Work Smarter, Not Harder. And he talks about ways of getting in these different exercises and getting the same benefits of being, because I used to be an old gym rat, right? Like an hour or two a day. in the gym. And so I'm having a hard time wrapping my brain around, wait, 5 minutes, 3 times a week? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, first, I think once you've tried it, and you have obviously tried it, it's quite easy to understand how it is such an effective workout. So obviously, in those two 20-second sprints, you push to your limits, and so it's not a free lunch. That's not what we're saying, that it's a free
Right.
lunch. But it's because it's so short, and it's easy to fit into your schedule, into your life, and make a routine out of it. Now, you mentioned cold plunges. So I'm super consistent with the bike. So I also do the REHIT rides every other day, and I'm now on about 1,300 of those. And in fact, my VO2 max has gone up by a lot more, like by 65%, compared to when I started. So it's a very substantial improvement. I also, from time to time, I try to do cold showers in the morning. So I don't have a cold plunge at home, sadly, but I turn the
just
water.
bought these silicone molds, little silicone molds that you could make these 5-pound ice bricks with, and I use my bathtub.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I have to look
it
into that.
takes about 40 minutes. So I'll run the bathtub, put the ice in, and then I'll do my like sauna, I'll do my weights, and then an hour later, it's finally down to about 55, which they say
Okay,
anything
awesome.
below
Yeah.
60 is beneficial. So it's about 55, and I've been doing it in my bathtub.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good. Good. Now, yeah, that's wonderful. But the where I was going is that I find the cold showers harder. So I do the cold showers, and now in July and August, because the water is not that cold, it's quite easy. But in January or so, January, February, it's very difficult. I find the cold showers very difficult. And there, what happens to me is I do them for like a week, and then one day I'm like, not today, and then it's like 2 weeks later and I haven't done them. So I find it much harder to stick to. Whereas with the REHIT rides, for example, I find that really easy to stick to. And
I could totally see looking forward to my ride. I do not look forward to that cold plunge. The only thing is I'm slightly addicted to the way I feel afterwards. Once I get out of it, and all those endorphins hit, and I'm like, oh, I feel good.
Yes. I guess that's why I have these stretches, of like a few weeks good adherence, and then ooh, no cold shower, and then maybe that's it.
Absolutely. So we're getting close to time here. Is there anything that you'd like to leave, little nuggets with us before we sign off?
Yeah, little nugget. So one thing I'm always shocked about, and just for people to appreciate that, and also kind of what motivates people to exercise. Yeah, there was a big study that has shown that low cardiorespiratory fitness leads to more avoidable deaths than smoking, diabetes, and obesity combined. So low VO2 max, low cardiorespiratory fitness, more avoidable deaths than smoking, diabetes, and obesity combined. So therefore, if you think about it, I think most people, as motivation for exercise is, I want to lose some weight. And I totally sympathize with that. Like that's as important for me as important for many people. Yeah. But really, if you look behind it, it gives you so much more than just support with weight management, but really helping you to live a healthier, happier, just better life. And so even if you weren't to lose weight, there's just so much more to gain by having an exercise routine that you can stick to.
110%. Consistency is key. Consistency is key. Consistency is key. What is the website again? It's carolbike.com?
Yes, it's carolbike.com.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's CAROL bike.com. And if you use the code RHB, Renegade Health Boss, you get $100 off. So make sure to check that out. Use the code and start improving your health and wellness today with the ease of as little as 3 times a week. That's just incredible. All right, before we sign off, tell me about your return policy.
Yeah, sure. So we have a industry-leading 100-day risk-free trial. So when you purchase a Carol bike, you have 100 days to see whether you like it, whether it works for you, whether you see the benefits, whether you can stick to it. And if it's not for you, if you can't, then you can also just call us and we pick it up and you get a full refund. The reason for this is because we appreciate we don't operate many showrooms. And so purchasing a bike without knowing that it's right for you and having tried it before might be a big step. And so we offer our customer that reassurance that if it's not for them, we pick it up and they get a full refund.
That's absolutely incredible. One little last question. So when the bike comes, is there a lot of assembly? Is it really hard? Do you have to have an engineering degree to put it together?
It helps. No. First, we can deliver the bike in a box or assembled. There's a small additional field for the assembly. No, but the assembly is straightforward. There's 7 steps and it's largely pre-assembled. It's usually a good thing if you're 2 people, if you assemble it with 2 people, because it's so the bike is fully designed, manufactured, certified for commercial and professional use. So it's a heavy duty bike. It's heavy. And so to handle it, it's better with 2 people. But the assembly itself is fairly straightforward. I can do it in about 20 minutes. Most people can do it within 45 minutes to an hour. And it's 7 simple steps. You get all the tools you need, and it's no big drama.
Good to know, because I know if I'm wondering that question, there's probably other people wondering that as well. So I'm glad that that popped into my head. So thank you for answering. Awesome. Thank you again so much for joining me today and all the amazing work that you're doing in the world. Like, this is huge to help turn around people's metabolic health, like huge. And everybody else, make sure to stay tuned and have a healthy day. Thanks again.
Thank you.
And as always, if you were inspired by anything that you heard on today's show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. That's the only way that we help change people's lives and get this information out into the world so that change can begin one person at a time, the way that it did with me and changed my life so many years ago. Make sure too, right, if you really want to start changing your life, it starts with your diet. It starts with what's on the end of your fork. And if you want to start making changes, go to my website, www.renegadehealthboss, RENEGADE, health, HEALTHBOSS.com, and download your free ebook, your free cooking guide, Real Cooking to Real Life. And in there, you'll also find links to the videos. Don't just learn what to eat, but why, right? Don't just learn how to cook, but the reasonings behind why I use some of the tools that I do, the toxins. You've got to lower your toxic burden, and we can do that in the kitchen and with what you eat. So make sure that you pick up that free resource. It's amazing. And while we're at it, we got to do a little disclaimer. Anything that you hear on this show is for entertainment value only. You cannot hold Heather Gray, the Lyme Boss, Discovering Health LLC, or Renegade Health Boss liable for any damages that may have occurred while you have tried something that you've heard on the show. The show also contains affiliate sponsorship and paid advertising, just a heads up. But to also know that no advertising gets on here without my approval first. It's usually products that I have tried and have my stamp of approval on it. So never fear when it comes to that. But yes, cannot hold me liable. Do not. This is for educational purposes only. Please make sure that you talk to your doctor before making any medical changes. And God bless. Stay tuned.